Welcome to Footprints in the Market. Today we are joined by Puolakka, the CMO of Mr. Gamble. Thank you so much for joining us today, Paul.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you. I think for me, like one of my favorite things to do when I'm having these kind of conversations is just like get a bit of a background on people's journey into the iGaming space and how like they got to be where they are. So even if you could just give us a little bit of a background to your path in iGaming and how you got here.
Well, actually, I stumbled on iGaming kind of like by accident in 2014. I never lived abroad before, so I thought I was kind of like time for a change, and I came up with Malta, uh, country or island I've never been. So I was actually first thinking about like, okay, I'm just gonna go there, be for like 6 months, 1 year, figure out what I want to do with my life. And apparently, I'm still in iGaming, so that went well.
Well, it's one of those ones, everybody's kind of said that that's appeared so far that, like, once you're in iGaming, that's just you. Like, you're just kind of set for life in that
Mm.
space. Wait,
Yeah, I actually tried to escape that iGaming like 3 years ago when I sold my affiliate venture, and I went to this corporate like uh you know like Volt or these kind of like things, and I had like job interviews. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going back to iGaming because it's too corporate for me.
You're listening to Footprints in the Market, the marketing playbook for iGaming. Expect unfiltered insight from market leaders on their industry experience, real-life case studies, pitfalls to avoid, and actionable takeaways for practical growth of your brand. Footprints in the Market is brought to you by Digital Footprints, your strategic marketing partner and safest bet in iGaming. I think that's the thing. I think, see, once you experience that culture, like, it's then when you kind of go
Exactly.
back to something else, it's not quite as cool.
Oh, it's pretty hard.
But you've been both then, like, operator side and affiliate side, haven't you?
Mm.
What do you think's the
Yeah, that's correct.
hardest? What do you
Sorry,
think's the hardest?
I think both
Yeah.
have their like things. Obviously, when I was an operator, I'd always thought, like affiliation is easy. Then I moved to affiliates, I don't like, oh, this is so hard. So it's the market. It doesn't matter if you're an operator side or affiliate side. It's really saturated nowadays, and you really have to be good at what you do to make it. So
Definitely. And so then did you exit, because it was like via bonus you had, so when you exited that, how did you then, like, how did Mr. Gamble come about?
Mr. Gamble, I actually knew the guys from back in the days. So they used to be my clients both before they had to join the operation in Mr. Gamble. So they both like, I really get along with both of those founders. And then we actually had a talk a couple of times before that should we do something together. Time wasn't right, and there wasn't like anything special we could do by then. But then I had a meeting with the founders, and we're like, okay, well, maybe let's give it a try. And apparently, what went quite well since I'm sitting here.
I think what I love about Mr. Gamble in terms of the affiliate brand is that it is actually a brand. So I think, like, from agency side, sometimes, like, when we've been onboarding affiliates, we've had a lot of them where, like, they're very domain focused. So whether it's like for SEO but I think Mr. Gamble's not, so that makes it not brandable really. But I think what you've got is like a concept and a brand out there. Do you think that kind of makes you guys stand out within that affiliate space?
And definitely, it's easier to build content around that one also because it's more fun than normal SEO site. Then you have to kind of like figure it out how should we do some stuff around this one. So we have actually the real life mascot also. We have like made that one. Then we have the Mr. Gamble car. I don't know how many affiliates have their own branded car. We have. So it's fun to make this kind of like content around that one. And currently we're working lots of like social media project, and we found that like the having the mascot actually it's very unique, and well, you can actually play around with that one and test around different things.
Yeah, definitely.
So definitely you stand out with that kind of like thing.
I think what I wanted to just touch on as well with Mr. Gamble was like the Twitch strategy. So we've seen so
Hmm.
many affiliates try to adopt it, but none quite as well as Mr. Gamble. So you guys have got what, like over 26,000 followers. What was the sort of secret to
Hmm.
that?
Well, actually, I think it's a passion behind that one because like before there was Mr. Gamble, the rules were in like Twitch marketing. So one of our founders he's really entertaining, and so he was actually quite large in Twitch in Nordic. So we kind of like started from the Twitch to build a community, and that one had entertaining, streams, and that was kind of like the foundation of our growth also. So we started like from the Twitch, and we switched to the SEO. But I don't know if there's any special secret sauce, but obviously like I think you have to have a certain kind of persona to make it. And obviously like it's quite hard to like break into that one because there's so many streamers
Yeah.
nowadays. 2017, when it was still quite new thing, I think it was, I wouldn't say easy, but
And
easier. But if I would need to break now in the Twitch, start from the zero, that would be challenging, and I think it would cost quite a lot of money also.
what about the compliance aspect of it? Does that become tricky when you're trying to kind of like be creative, but then still make sure that you're in keeping within, regulations, or do you think it is all just about that kind of personality and the face behind it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you need to know the audience also. So don't number one rule, don't target minors, and obviously it depends, of course, what market you're targeting. So if there's like UK or these kind of regulated markets, so they are really strict about like promoting stuff there. So actually, we don't do UK streams. That's the reason. But obviously, you need to like have. I mentioned also about the responsible gambling aspect also, and have the helplines numbers and stuff like that open there. So like just and if there's something that you don't necessarily know, you can always ask from operator. Because they're at the end of the day, they are the ones that like you promote their products. So say that, hey, can you guys check that? Should we change something here, or what do you think about the content? Because like it's easier to like ask it before you start the promoting than actually do something that is not allowed or compliant, and then get like your affiliate got close to that one.
Yeah. You mentioned that you sort of like reestablished Mr. Gamble as like an SEO first brand. Do you still have like PPC as part of that strategy? And if you do, how do you sort of balance that? So like with short-term paid wins from PPC against like long-term SEO.
Yeah, we are SEO first affiliate, and we were never like doing like large things or big things in PPC. We have tested them and we still test around. Obviously now it's like what's happening with the PPC at the moment, like Google, for example. It's kind of like, I don't know if the dying is the right word, but like it changed a lot now. So you don't anymore have like the paid ads there, PPC ads. Now you have the AI thing when you ask something or Google something. So that changed a bit, Google PPC also. Uh, but in general, like we test around, and if we see that something resonates with PPC or other marketing sources, that we see that there's some signals there that we should like invest more time and money into it. So definitely we look into those kind of constantly.
Footprints in the Market is sponsored by BetComply because in iGaming, compliance isn't just a tick box exercise. From new market entry to ever-changing regulations, BetComply keeps you one step ahead. Don't risk it, own it. Head to betcomply.com and take control of your compliance today. And from like that SEO perspective, obviously you mentioned AI there. Like, does that play a part in your content strategy, or do you think it crafts quality content? What's your sort of thoughts on that from like that SEO perspective?
Yeah, AI definitely has a part. And I think in general, like we are at the moment as any SEO affiliate or anyone who like creates content, we are at the moment testing around a bit. It's still quite new thing. And there's lots of like AI, flood at the moment, like AI content flood. So at the moment we are, of course, working on that one and trying to figure out what would be the best way to integrate it with our content plan.
I think what
So lots of like A/B testing and stuff.
yeah. I think as well what you guys have, like, for your benefit from, like, an SEO perspective is that, like, forum communities, aspect to things because it, like, does build that trust because you've kind of got that transparency, you're giving people a voice. And it kinda reminds me of, like, back when I'd first started in iGaming when, like, forums and community spaces were, like, really big within the bingo space. And I've always wanted to see an affiliate site, like, replicate that really, really well, like, for, like, slots or casino, and I think you guys do. So, like, from your perspective, do you think that that community plays a big part in conversions and trust building? So what's sort of been your thought process around that? Have you thought about SEO, or is it mainly just from a sort of community brand building side of things?
There's always SEO part, but I think in Mr. Gamble Forum, the idea was also already like always like player first approach, and of course it helps in SEO. It has part in that one, but we really want to create the space for players to like if they had any good or bad experience from casinos or providers, or they just want to chit chat about slot games or something like that. There, we give the forum to them. Um, and it's kind of like when we build around like Twitch following and community there, we wanted to also transfer some of the stuff that was there to the forum also. So there would be like kind of like one big thing, community in that sense. So trust is always, of course, the big factor there that, like I believe that when there's user generated content and it's published
Yeah.
also without like doing anything around that one, it builds trust always.
And from a UX perspective, like, I've noticed that, like, on the Mr. Gamble site, there's clearly been, like, a lot of effort put in place in terms of how you can kinda make the user get through the site easily so they don't need to think too much, and you've kind of put filters in place. And so what's your process in terms of how you optimize that and find what's working and what's not?
Well, obviously, we want it to easy to use for the players. Like I always think also myself, like would I use this one? And how to make it easy. We used to actually have more filters before, but like then we figured out that like it they weren't useful. So we try to like narrow it down to the things that people actually need. So if you have too many options,
Yeah,
it normally slows down also, and the experience is that good because you get confused.
definitely.
So obviously we are testing it all the time and trying to improve it, and especially mobile now, obviously because it's very important to have like fast site and slick site, and obviously the first impression is always it used to be like 3 seconds before I think, but I think it's way less nowadays. So you really need to make an impact also in terms of like how it looks and feels.
I think my business partner, he's got a very good saying when it comes to UX and SEO. He always says, never let the user think, so that everything should be there straight away.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think you're right.
exactly,
I
exactly,
think sometimes like you can try and oversimplify things by adding like so many different choices, but then actually
mm,
it complicates it and make things more difficult.
exactly, exactly.
What about the sort of geo expansion of like Mr. Gamble? So obviously you've kind of expanded from the Nordics into the US and Canada. Has there sort of been any challenges with that? Because definitely from an agency side, we found that maybe some affiliates have maybe tried to bite off a little bit more they can kind of chew within that scenario and kind of got themselves burnt. What's been your experience and how have you guys done that successfully?
Well, for example, US is, I think a couple of years ago, like everyone was going there. It was kind of like gold rush and stuff like that. And even the big companies got like really burnt there. So obviously we tested also US, and now the approach for us in the US is that we focus on sweepstakes because of many of reasons. And obviously because like the states have so many different, you know, regulations, and it seems to be taking forever to get the all the paperwork and stuff like that done there. So it's a bit different than in EU countries or Europe, that it's normally quite smooth and straightforward. but obviously, like when you enter the new markets at the moment, we are looking for like South Africa, Latam countries, Asia. So we are trying to figure it out, like what resonates with the players, that they have the correct like payment methods and stuff like that. So because if we deliver the click the wrong casino that doesn't have the right, it's not like localized and doesn't have right payment methods or something like that. It also hurts our brand because like player goes there, it's not localized. They're gonna play there, like what are the odds that they will go to that casino anymore, or even to our site table shares for something different. So obviously we want to like always cater the best casinos, the right casinos for the right markets.
I think you're right, and I think like a lot of people, I think, place quite a lot of focus on the localization of the language, which is of course like super important, but sometimes they maybe forget like about the infrastructure behind that, and everything else that goes with it.
But I mean, for us, like we have some casinos in some countries that like don't have the local language, but then again, they already came to our site, which is in English. So like I think in that sense they can understand English, and obviously nowadays there's like browsers that auto translate everything, anyways. So I think the payment methods and understanding the market a bit, having the right currencies and stuff like that is important. And for that one also, it's quite good for us that like there's so many markets that we haven't actually even targeted, but we started to get traffic from those. So for us, it's been like I think really good that indicated that Mr. Gamble as a brand globally resonates quite well.
And where do you see affiliate marketing evolving in the next 3 years, just in general? No, it doesn't even need to be like Mr. Gamble specific. Where do you see things going? Do you see any trends that we need to look out for?
Well, obviously, like AI is going to shape a bit everything here. So there's going to be more automated stuff coming up. And I think AI is going to help also like CRM part
Yeah.
in affiliation, but also, of course, in the casino side. And the users, of course, like look more like, answers from ChatGPT or other AI different platforms. So it affects also that how the users react to search their content. But yeah, it's really hard to say what's going to be the things. But I think in general, if there would be like one big thing, which under that umbrella, everything else falls like AI. And well, of course, regulations. Yeah.
Footprints in the Market is brought to you by Digital Footprints, your strategic marketing partner and safest bet in iGaming. Make your mark and work with us to drive growth and innovation for your iGaming business. I think what I love about this podcast is by the time like people come on it, they're already like an influential marketer within this space, right? But what I always ask is if there was like a big mistake or a big challenge that you faced in your career and what you learned from it, so that everybody, because I think like we could all paint that picture that everything's always been perfect within that marketing. But I think it would be really, really good, like to maybe give somebody like a little bit of a takeaway of like, do you know what, this happened, or this was a mistake, this was a challenge, but this is how we overcame it. Is there anything that you can think of within your career?
Like I made a quite like big list before this podcast, so there are quite many mistakes. I keep making it every week and every day, every month, like, but you learn from those. But I think like I don't see it as a mistake, but I saw it kind of like I thought it's gonna be easier, but then again I learned from that one. So when I started my own affiliate venture, so I had my couple of investors there, but I was pretty much doing everything else myself. So looking back now, obviously it's been really good because I had to learn everything about SEO, site management, branding. I even wrote some of the content myself, which I'm not really good at, but still had to do it because no one else was there. I didn't have money to buy anything. But I think that's kind of, I learned a lot in that sense, like about the big picture. So I don't think I would be CMO of Mr. Gamble if I wouldn't have that experience before. But there was also good things that came out of that Mountain project. I won the branding of the year in F5 awards back then. I'm so proud, and they were so really good. Beginning to have when you had to meet, hey, congrats to your team. Like, okay, thanks. Like, I am the team. So
That's to me.
yeah, that would be me. So yeah, but you always learn those kind of things.
And if you could give your younger self one piece of marketing advice, what would that be?
Uh, there's one company that makes sneakers and sports clothes, and they have the slogan "Just do it." I think it's quite good. Um, because at least in the past, I always used to overthink about stuff, and is this perfect? Like, should I still do something and polish it around? Just like for now, I would be more like just get it done, get the stuff out. Like you can just like polish it during the way and prove it, because sometimes that takes a lot of time that you try to be like really okay, is this perfect or not? Just like get it done and stuff. And there's never really perfect timing, or the product is never ready anyway. So you just need to improve it all the time. Um, and I think also one thing that I'd be really hard to
Yeah.
myself. So just don't be so hard on yourself. It's gonna be just fine.
That's good life advice as well.
Mhm. Exactly.
It's interesting.
I'm still trying to learn that one, but
It's so funny you said that because I actually had I had a conversation a few weeks ago, and it was with one of the podcast speakers. His name is Harry Lang, and he said the sentence, and it stuck with me, that marketing, and it says that it's like marketing's never perfect. And it's like, and
mm,
it's so true, because sometimes what you have, and it's even from an agency side, you spend so much time brainstorming, you spend so much time doing something, and then there's so much back and forth that you can kind of like get in your own head, and by that time the moment's gone, it's past. So you just
mm.
need to go on and do it.
Yeah, I think normal like the first few ideas are the
Yeah.
best. Like if it comes like this, like it's usually the best. Well, we get the idea of like actually the Mr. Gamble car. I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but we got that idea when we're like, because I'm from Finland, so we'll have to go to the sauna. So we were just like having a couple of drinks and in sauna with the founders, and like that was the idea that we got, like, yeah, we have to have the car. What is the ugliest car you can find?
I like the cat idea. I like the mascot idea. I was looking at the Instagram content. I like the mascot. I thought that was good. Perfect. Thank you so much, Paul, for coming on the podcast. You have no idea how much we appreciate it. Thank you for giving up your time to share some wisdom.
No worries. Thanks for having me. It was
Thank
great.
you, Paul.